bring balance to the Force.
And this boy's future is... You have, Qui-Gon.
Okay, we are taking things a notch higher, with Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1 Part 1. Please drop a like, it really does its magic, and hit the subscribe button, because you are our superhero. Here's the recap. Go elsewhere if you were looking for escape. This is how Obi-Wan Kenobi starts in a horribly appropriate manner. It's difficult to determine if this terrible coincidence is a good thing or a bad thing at this early point in the series, the most ambitious live-action Star Wars project that Disney Plus has yet to reveal. There was a school shooting in a galaxy far, far away in the distant past.
Safe. The children must... Presence. And what of the boy? In your solid commune with him, I will...
Gunmen with weapons broke into a children's academy and started shooting at everything that moved. In order to keep her kids safe, a teacher gave her life and died so that they may live. Yes, if your evaluation is based only on the principal actor's performance in the production. The main character, played by Ewan McGregor, returns from George Lucas's still controversial prequel trilogy. He was once a magnificent Jedi Knight who taught the formidable young Jedi Anakin Skywalker the ways of the world. Now, in his late middle years, he is a tormented man who works merrily at a meat processing facility on the desert planet Tatooine.
You know what we do? It is patient. Their compassion run rampant. Lovely saloon. People like him. He's... You is a stealing from. Help. Now if he was smart, he'd keep in and saves your saloon as they begin and they try.
That's his day job. However, his real responsibility is keeping an eye on Luke, Anakin's hidden kid, who is being reared by his uncle Owen Lars, Joel Edgerton, who is also making a comeback from the prequels. It doesn't help that Owen wants Ben Kenobi to be as far away from the child as possible and refuses to accept gifts that the youngster leaves for him in the middle of the night. In fact, Obi-Wan's commitment to this cause is viewed as nearly obsessional, taking precedence over all other responsibilities. Obi-Wan declines the request for assistance from a young Jedi named Nari, Uncut Gems co-director Benny Safdie, when a gang of Imperial Inquisitors who are pursuing Jedi show up. Additionally, he, at least initially, rejects the requests of Alderaanian Senator Bail Organa, Jimmy Smits, another holdover from the prequels, to assist in finding Luke's twin sister Leia, Vivian Lyra Blair, who has been abducted by bounty hunters under the command of a man named Vect Flea, the bassist for Red Hot Chili Peppers.
New processor board. Sell them back to me. Could you at least clean them? Jedi. Yeah.
McGregor makes these choices while displaying a tangible sense of fatigue and caution. His shattered Obi-Wan seems to dream every night about his failure with Anakin. But Obi-Wan is compelled to help when Bail shows up to Obi-Wan's cave, pleading directly for assistance, and Nari comes up dead in town, hung up as a lesson to the villagers. After retrieving both his and Anakin's lightsabers from the desert, he most likely goes in search of Leia's captors. He is unaware that the same Inquisitors who first showed out on Tatooine looking for Jedi were also behind Leia's kidnapping.
I'm sorry, my name is Nari. You have no idea what... You have to help me.
They're hidden. If the Jedi is over,
That would be Reva, Moses Ingram, the fifth brother, Sung Kang, and a co-worker of the Grand Inquisitor, Rupert Friend, dubbed the third sister. She shares the belief of her fellow Inquisitors that because aiding people in need is ingrained in their nature, the Jedi hunt themselves. To the dismay of her fellow Inquisitors, she has developed an obsession with finding the fabled Obi-Wan Kenobi in order to make up for whatever debt she believes he owes her. Was she among the kids who fled the Jedi Temple in fear when Anakin and his minions, the clone troopers, attacked it? Very likely. Would it mean that she would always hold the Jedi responsible for allowing all of this to happen to be her grudge? Most likely, you can wager on it.
We don't need anything from you, Ben.
Sexy out there.
I'm asking you. You care, Father? And on a farm in his family where...
I love it. Jedi. Hiding.
Or you'll be punished.
River!
This is the outer world. All we want is... You got a Jedi on that farm too?
I killed vermin on my farm.
It's important. For me. The Jedi are in protecting them. They would...
The Disney-era Star Wars franchise's most direct appeal to your devotion to date is Obi-Wan Kenobi, so if you're a fan of the prequels, hey, we're out here and we won't be quiet. The episode's writers, who came and went until showrunner Joby Harold was brought in after a few firings, rely heavily on the weight that time has given to McGregor, Smits, and Edgerton's performances. To put it mildly, they appear as though time has not been particularly kind to them. Why wouldn't they? The two men who are practically at odds with one another, Obi-Wan and Owen, are marooned on a desert planet and are attempting to conceal the identity of a young child. Bail, who is still a part of the remnants of the Galactic Senate, is doing the same thing with his daughter, effectively hiding her from view, although she isn't permitted to leave the planet until those bounty hunters take her away.
Thanks, Lyle. My pleasure. Then I guess I don't need manners.
I know things. Oh, God.
Like you, so you repeat what he says. You're the one who's scared. You never will. See that. He's ruled the droids by a jackal beast.
Chief, Grogu. Had to find some other... A few years you'll be off to university then.
Always arguing. Never.
Which is why you're...
Even a real
The characters have tough roles to perform in this. Furthermore, it has only been 10 years in Star Wars universe time, despite the fact that the last prequel, Revenge of the Sith, was released 17 years ago. It appears that the well-known figures have aged by almost twice as much as they should have. The intended effect of making these characters appear older, wiser, and sadder than before is achieved, even though the timeline continuity is somewhat wonky and always has been since we were supposed to believe that young Ewan McGregor could transform into aged Sir Alec Guinness by the time Luke Skywalker turned 17 years old.
We're waiting. Not let this become public. Obi-Wan. If Leia is important as he is.
Find someone else.
Shut her up.
Nevertheless, Darth Vader himself remains a crucially important missing component. Although the Dark Lord of the Sith hasn't shown his face on the program yet, we do know that actor Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin Skywalker, will be coming back to play the fallen Jedi. How would that seem and sound? How is it going to operate? In many respects, the most fascinating query concerning Obi-Wan Kenobi remains unanswered. However, what we now have is solid science fantasy narrative, supported by McGregor's composed performance as the protagonist. Additionally, the white-faced Grand Inquisitor, a leftover from the universe of the Star Wars animated series, will serve you just well until Vader arrives. We still have more to learn, but it's too soon to say if the Force is actually powerful in this series. An additional episode is due out today.
It's over with. He fought beside
You coming or not?